Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace here, dropping in on you. I hope that everybody's getting their week off to a great start. I apologize for my voice. It's been uh, a long couple of days. I had a great day yesterday, Father's Day, but I've been up this morning since 3. Um, Periodically, I go through these spans in which I engage what I call Hell Week. And it's simply a time where I sell out, uh, cut my days. I cut my night short, and I engage in getting things done. It's normally when I'm sensing I'm at a point of breakthrough where something I've really been fighting for is just on the other side of that wall, but the resistance is strong. It seems like there's delay. There's a great deal of opposing forces that are working against me. And so I do what I call Hell Week. So it's up early, bed late, fight through, push through. And then my Hell Weeks normally last 1 week, 2 week. Hello, everybody. 1 week, 2 week, and then I'm back in it. But um, that's where I'm at this morning. So if my voice seems a little beat up, I haven't been using it, but I've been going at it. So I want to do that. I don't have the book out today, but Critical Mass is finally here. Those of you who have ordered it, when the shipment comes in, they're going out immediately. So be looking for your book. If you haven't ordered Critical Mass, well, let me go ahead and pull it out real quick. If you haven't ordered Critical Mass, it's here. I hope I got the book up straight. Yeah, it's here. Close to 400 pages of a peek inside of my mind and how I move, the things I share with my clients, things of that nature. The link is in the, if you're on Facebook and watching it live, the link is in the post box. If you are catching this on one of my YouTube channels, it's in the description box. I urge, I really do. I'm excited about the book. That's book number 20. A lot went into it. At one point, it was up to 700 pages. We got it down to just under 400 pages. I think that it's very powerful at helping you build a foundation for success. Um, um, yeah, Tia, you finally caught the live. Great. And so go ahead and order the book. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get 5 minutes out of 5 minutes of fire out of the way. So like I said, this is a Hell Week, so it's a lot to do today and the remainder of the week. But I'm going to be coming at you with a lot of stuff because that's a part of the Hell Week process. Is amping up engagement. But look, one of the things that I find when people are trying to determine where they're headed in life, when they're looking at their goals, they have these things they daydream about, these things that they're passionate about, these things that in their mind they see as something they really want. But when they're making their minds up about what they're really going to go after, when they're sitting up and setting the ultimate goal, setting the target of their destination, they tend to draw in the logic of needing to know how. And that's the left brain going into overdrive when you are saying, you know what, how am I going to get that done? What's the next step and all of that. And what you have to really understand is there's a place and time for critical thought. There's a place and time for critical thought. There's a place and time for having all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. And, there's a place and time for pragmatism and empiricism. There's a place and time for all of that. But when you're trying to expand yourself and stretch yourself and go after something, what you want to go after is the biggest idea of you, the biggest idea of what it is you believe you're meant to do. This isn't about going out chasing wild willies. This is about sitting up and saying, why am I here? And you have to know that if you're truly talking about your truest purpose, your truest impact on the world, it's not small. It's not menial. It's not something hidden back and shrunk. It's not dwarfed. It's not colorless. It's huge. It's vivid. It's powerful. But you've trained yourself to tame it. Why? Because everything around you tells you you can't. You got constant barrages of reality checks from academia, from friends, from propaganda, from all of these different influences that are coming into your world, and it's telling you you can't. And it's telling you that when you start thinking like that, you're not being realistic. So it automatically makes you want to go out and validate the idea or validate uh, the mission. You need to say, okay, I'm dreaming, and there's this idea of what a dream is, and so you get it. So a lot of people separate dreams from visions and passion and purpose. And the truth of the matter is, they're all connected. Everything that you're going to be at every level, every responsibility, every life you're going to touch, every life you're going to be responsible for is encompassed in your purpose. There's nothing left out of it. So when you're operating in your purpose, when you're operating in your passion, when you're living in the thing that you were designed to do, that you just feel at the deepest recesses of your soul you should be doing, everything that you need to be doing is there. Now, the thing is, are you doing it at the highest level? Are you going after it? Or have you been conditioned and trained to shrink it to the things you can see? And that's the problem. Most people want to know how instead of just making the commitment and then figuring out how. It works out better that way. When you have to know how something's going to be done before you do it, you're constantly stuck in areas you've already mastered. And if all you're working in is areas you've already mastered, you're never growing. You're not growing if you're in that zone that you know you can do. You're not growing. You're not expanding yourself. You're not activating and actualizing your potential. So what you have to be able to do, is sit up and say, you know what is it that I believe I am supposed to be doing with my life? Without boundaries, what is it that I want to do? Without boundaries, what is it I want out of life? Without boundaries, what is it that I see myself or want to see myself doing a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Once you get an idea of that, you commit to it. Say, this is who I'm going to be. Now, what I can tell you is, if you really, truly push yourself, you push the brakes. There's a saying that I often quote from Stephen Furtick that says, if the vision that you have for your life isn't so huge that it intimidates you, it's probably insulting God. There's a good chance it's insulting God. But what it's saying is that we normally live in tamed visions. We normally have visions that are nowhere close to captivating and capturing and actualizing the potential that's in our design. So there's so much untapped potential because we are constantly residing where we're comfortable. We're constantly residing in a place where everything's worked out and we can understand it. And so we rule with it. But that's not how you get to where you are designed to be. You've got to step out of your comfort zone. You got to say, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And you're not going to have the answer. So you're not going to know how. Why? Because to do something that you've never done before, it's going to require things of you that you don't have, that you've never done, that you haven't experienced, that you don't have the skill set for. But all of those things are things that can be acquired. Those are things that can be learned, acquired, built, developed, and grown. So everything that you are going to need, the capacity for it is there already, but you may not have access to the understanding of how it works. But what you have to do is commit to what it is you want to do, commit to it. You know, I have a one-word identity, a one-word core value, a one word, and everybody needs to adapt that one word that identifies them. So at the most pressure-filled time in your life, whatever you're going through, You turn to that one word and it tells you who you are and how you're going to respond to any situation. My one word is relentless. And in that, it tells me I don't have an option to quit. So I keep going. It's not about how hard it is. It's not about how many bumps and bruises I get. It's not about how many times people turn and laugh. It's not how many times I fall and fail. It's about simply saying, once I set my mind to have something, there's two options. I'm going to get it, or I'm going to die trying. Either way works fine for me, but I will not quit. I will not leave this world with the legacy of a quitter. I'm going to go get it. I said I was going to have it, and I'm going to go after it with everything I got. You can have a core, you can have that one word core value of belief, of confidence, or whatever the word is that describes you to the core in the purest sense. Everybody has that thing about them that makes them them. That's this one unique strength that stands out above everything else. With me, I'm relentless. I just won't quit. I just keep going. Even when it makes absolutely no sense, I'm still going. Why? Because that's the way I'm built. You can't tell me I can't. You can't tell me I can't, I'm not able to. It won't happen. The one way to make sure that I go after something and get it, if I want it, is to tell me I can't or tell me to be realistic. I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to go after it. And what I can tell you is this, though. This is where most people fail that do make the decision to go after something. They get out there and realize it's harder than they thought it was. That everything doesn't fall in line. Life doesn't just lay down for you. That's not how it happens. You're going to have challenges. You're going to have interruptions. You're going to have people who hate you for no apparent reason, who don't want to do anything but see you fail. You're going to have negative people in your ear. You're going to have all these things that you're working against, and you're going to have to find a way to push through it. Where most people happen is they get out, and as long as the road is smooth, or as long as they can see far enough ahead to see, well, I'm about to get, but when it gets tough and delay sets in, disappointment sets in, failure hits you, and all these things are going on, it's easy to choose another road where it's not as bumpy than to stay on the road you own and finish the course. See, there's a saying that the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but the ones that endure. See, it's not about how fast you get started. It's not how hard you hit in the beginning. It's how long you stay. How long you're willing to stay in the fight. How much are you committed to it? There's another quote that I absolutely love. That's a fictitious quote because it comes from a movie, but it is unbelievable. There's this movie called Lawless about the Bondurant brothers, moonshine runners, and they're having this bout with these dirty cops. And these cops beat up this young brother who is a part of the Bondurant family. The two older brothers are straight killers. They're just straight killers. Nothing daunts them. They going after it, and nothing phases them. The younger brother's smart, but he's not a killer. But he gets jumped and beat almost to death by a police officer, and he's sitting there in the bar that they own, and his brother looks at him and says, "So what do you plan on doing?" And he looks at his brother and says, "I'm not like you. I'm not like you. I'm not a killer like you. I'm not violent like you." And the brother gets over and walks over to him, and he says, "It's not the violence that sets a man apart. It's the distance he's willing to go." And when I heard it, I'm like, well, damn. And it explains everything about this thing in one line. Those who are willing to go the distance win. They win in life. They experience success consistently because they're willing to go the distance. They don't get to a wall and back down. They don't get to pain and back down. They don't get to a situation and experience delay and back down. They don't get to anything. And it's like, once you commit to something, go the distance. That means when you experience delay, when you experience frustration, when you get knocked back a few steps, when you have your first failure, and you're going to have failures, you're going to have more than one failure. If you're going after something worth really having, you're going to experience failure. If you're doing it right, you're probably failing forward. And that's something I try to do. I fail forward. And you say, well, what in the hell is that? failing forward is setting your goals so huge that it's more than likely you're not going to hit them on the time frame. But the reason I do that is if I'm more concerned about the time frame than the goal, and I set my goal to ensure that I make it on the time frame, there's a good possibility I'm leaving something on the table. Meaning that if I set it for 50 and in a week, and I say, oh, I can make 50, and then I get to 50, how much did I leave? But what if I set it to 100 and then I get 70? The chances are that 70 is what I had in me at that moment, and I got it all. So I didn't get the 100, but I got 70. Now I'll go back and I'll put in and I get another 70. Now I'm past the 100. I failed forward towards the 100. I didn't hit it. I failed into it. I failed into success. And that's how you move into success. One failure teaches you a better way to do it or one way not to do it. And you learn from the experience. You move toward it. You develop calluses from the bumps and the bruises. You develop tough skin from all you experience. You develop a mindset to move forward. And you get to a point where people are looking at you and thinking you're in denial because nothing phases you, but it's because you simply understand that if I keep going, I'm going to get it. And some things are so huge and so big that you don't even know when you're going to get it, but you're just not going to quit. So it's not about knowing how, because if it's something you've never done before, you don't know how. Because if you knew how to do it and it's worth having, you would have it. So the fact that you don't have it says you're not there yet, meaning that you've got to raise your standards, you got to raise your expectations, you got to set the goal, then you got to go into it and figure out what needs to be done. That's when the how comes in. The how isn't something you figure out to do before you set the goal. The how is I'm going to set the goal, then I'm going to figure it out. Because if I'm setting goals on things I already know how to get done, I'm not growing. I'm not expanding myself. I'm not getting better. And that's the goal every day, is to get better. The whole thing about success isn't the goals. It's the progress in growth as a person. Am I becoming better? Am I becoming more efficient? Am I becoming more effective? Am I having a bigger impact on the world around me than I did when I started this? And that's the thing. Your goal is to have an impact on the world around you. Are you making other people's lives better in what you're bringing to the table? Yes, money is involved, but if you do it right, if you come to the table and you bring what you have and you say, look, I'm going to make the people around me better. There's a way to monetize that where you bring greater value than what you're asking, and there's no sin in it, no failure and ethics in it. It's exactly it should be expected. When you bring something of value, you have a right to ask for something, and then when you deliver greater value, you can never say you were cheated. Your clients can never say they were cheated. If you sit up and tell them something, one easy way to bring value, I'm gonna give you a 30-minute session, and that session goes an hour, and they walk away with something that allows them to make 5, 10, 15, 20, 100 times more than they spent on that session. You handled your business. You got what you brought. It was easy for you to deliver it because you were an expert at it. You're good at it. You do it in your sleep. So you were able to come there, deliver exactly what that person needed, do exactly what they want to do. They got it. They went out and they handled their business because of you. What they paid you was a small drop in the bucket for what they got. So everybody's happy. You got what you are worth at that particular moment in time for 30 minutes to an hour. They got what they need to totally change their life around. And you guys go your separate ways, or you get together and you do it again. But however it works, deliver more than what you're asking for. And you're always within your rights to ask. Yes, I need to be paid for what I do. I'm a beast at it, and I deliver results. And so if that's the case, if nobody does it like me and I'm delivering, then I have a right to ask what I ask. And if you see it and you can understand that it's worth it, you should have no problems paying. And then we get together. And that's how you handle your business. But you have to be committed. It's not going to come easy. I can say this over and over again, but you need to understand it's not going to come easy. It's not going to be something that is just going to fall out the sky because you say some positive things or speak some affirmations. Being positive is extremely important because it has something to do with your energy and your frequency and your expectations. But you have to have the right mindset, the right focus, the right circle around you. And more than important than anything else, you have to be taking action. Because see, you have to schedule it, which makes it real, because you can have a vision, you can have a dream, you can call it whatever you want to, you can have it, but until you schedule something that puts it into motion, it's just a dream, it's just out there in the air, it's just something you're thinking about, it's a part of a wish list. But the moment you schedule it, you put a sense of urgency to it, because now there's a time frame in which it needs to be accomplished. And so the urgency is created, which demands action. It means you can't wake up in the day and just go do whatever you want to do. Why? Because I have something in front of me that I have to get done. I have it scheduled and I have to get it done by that time. Now, if it doesn't get done by that time, it can't be because I wasn't active. Now, the chances are it won't get done if you made it big enough. It won't get done at the time you said it, but it better not be because you didn't put the work in. It better be because something happened you weren't expecting. It better be because it required a little bit more than you thought. It better be because of something other than you're not investing the time and effort and energy that it needs in order for you to get it done. That's what it's about. It's about putting in that work. It's about getting up and grinding. And sometimes you're looking at it and like it doesn't seem that it's coming in. You're sitting up and grinding, but you got to understand that with every thought you think, you're planting a seed. Now, hopefully you're thinking thoughts that are leading you out of a certain situation into a better situation, and those seeds are being planted. But what you have to understand, with every planting of a seed, there's a gestation period in which the seed goes through a process in which it begins to draw nutrients from the soil around it that's necessary for it to become what it is meant to be. Now, the thing is, depending on the seed planted, there's a different gestation period. Depending on where the seed is planted, there's a gestation period. Depending on how the seed is nurtured, there's a gestation period. Now, starting out from the beginning, there's a different gestation period from the planting of a rose and the planting of an acorn. Now, the rose is going to come to bloom in a certain amount of weeks. That tree is going to take a certain amount of years. But the difference is that rose will die and wither away when that oak tree is still strong and serving its purpose. So you've got to understand that when you're going after something huge, you can't be looking for immediate gratification. But you've got to grind on an understanding and work on an understanding of knowing that I planted the seed, that I'm working diligently, that the universal law of reciprocity says what I sow, I reap. And I put the work in, I planted it in my mind, it's already there. Because the moment you think it and say that, yes, this is what I'm going to do, it's already manifested. No, you can't see it yet because it's not in the third dimension. It's in the fifth dimension. It's where it's first formed. It's where it first becomes the part of your reality. It's where it starts to become movement and the universe becomes active in doing what you want to. The universe, God, whatever you want to call that force, that great superpower that brought everything into being. God is there. And he said, look, I heard you. And then what I love about it is that, and I've always taught this, God will only meet you at the level of your expectations. You can talk about faith all day long. You can talk about what you got. You got the faith of this, you got the faith of that, and all that. But he's only going to meet you at the level of your expectations. He told the Israelites, going to the Bible, he told the Israelites, he told Moses, tell them, I've heard their complaints against me. I've heard them say that they can't make it, even though I've already promised it to them. He took that as a personal complaint. Then he said, tell them that as they have spoken in my hearing, so shall I do them. And what he's saying is, you expect it, you got it. If you're expecting to struggle financially, you will. If all you can think about is struggling financially, you will. If you're expecting, it doesn't mean that you say, I don't expect it. I expect to be wealthy, and you're going to be wealthy. But when you start expecting things, you start to see things. And be willing to celebrate the small progressions, because that's how most of us are going to make it to where we're going. Most of us are not going to sit up and wake up and overnight go from having a net worth of $1,000 and have a net worth of 10 million overnight. That's a progress. So you got to start seeing it. You got to start thinking, I'm that person that's always looking around. I remember when this was. And so I remember when I was here. And so I look and I say, okay, I'm not where I want to be, but I ain't where I used to be. I remember when I was riding a bike. And now I remember this. So I remember when I was walking. I remember whatever your situation is. You got to start to sit up and say, hey, I'm moving. That Oldsmobile is a Mercedes now, or that that apartment is a home. Some of you started and you've made progressions, and because life doesn't look like you thought it would look at a certain age, you're disappointed. You still breathing, you're still in the fight. Stop having the pity party. Start getting your mind focused and start determining on a daily basis what you're going to do with your life. And like I said, God will meet you. The universe will meet you. It will conspire with you when you plant that seed and that thought, and you say, yeah. And then you move it. The universe has to start conspiring with you. It has no choice. The universe is built to respond to faith. And when you set that thought and you start to move towards that thought, it says, this is what I expect out of life. This is what I'm going. The universe has no choice but to work with you. It doesn't have an option. It has to work with you. That's how it's designed. That's how God made it. You are sitting in a space that you don't even realize. You can sit up and create anything in your mind. If you can conceive it in your mind, it's God's evidence to you that it's possible. You can't believe in a benevolent God and then think God will give you the capacity to sit up and conceive something that you couldn't have. That's torture. To be able to have something in your mind and just say, man, it would be nice to have this, and then never be able to have it. If you can sit up in that, if you got that thing in your mind, it would be nice. Some people, it would be nice not to worry about bills. It would be nice to sit up and drive, blah, blah, blah. It would be nice to travel here this many amount of times a year. If you can conceive it in your mind, if it can enter into your mind, you can make it happen. That's God's evidence, the fact that you can think it. Because if you can think it, you've already started the creation process. The problem is we're influenced heavily by the world around us that's constantly reminding us of what we can't do. And so it impacts us and it affects what we expect. And again, God, the universe, life, whatever you want to say, will only meet you at the level of your expectations. It's always been that way. Anything you look at, when you look at the performance of anything, it's based on what you expect, because what you expect is going to influence how you move. Nobody is going into something believing that it's an absolute sure shot and half doing it. Same thing on the other side. Nobody's going into something they really don't truly believe is happening and giving it everything they got. They might be doing it because people say, well, you got to try this. Or people say, have you done this yet? So you do it because they say you can do it so you can go back and say, I tried. And so it's not really an effort. It's a log and a check. So to say, I tried this, you would be surprised at how many people come to me and sit up and tell me, I've tried everything. And you can just imagine the look I give them. It's like, you did not just sit up there and tell me you tried everything. First of all, if you tried everything, it will be done because it's doable. If you try, it's something out there that you haven't done. And I can almost guarantee you probably haven't done more than 5 things before you quit. On average, people do about 2 or 3 things and they decide it don't work for them. They don't give it a chance to even get their feet wet in anything before they're jumping to something else. And you wonder why you get in it and you make up in your mind that for once in my life, life is going to bow down to me. For once in my life, I'm not bowing to life. Life is going to bow to me. I've been created with the power to speak things into existence, and I'm sitting running around here whining. I ain't doing it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to sit up, I'm going to speak it, and then I'm going to walk in it. It's either I'm going to get it or it's going to kill me, but I'm not going to sit around here and whine and complain. I'm not going to be a victim. I'm not going to give away my sovereignty, my personal sovereignty. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going. That's Don't surrender your personal sovereignty and acquiesce to the movement of any type of energy that's moving against your promise. Don't let anything move against your promise, the promise of your potential, the promise of your destiny, the promise of greatness. There's no such thing as being designed for mediocrity. Not with us. Mediocrity is a default setting for people who decide not to engage life with full vigor. See, mediocrity and average is just sitting up saying, that's a little too hard and I don't want to do it. It is. It's a default setting. See, but greatness is activated by a willingness to take on whatever's in front of you, no matter how hard it gets. That's where you start to see things that's how you start separating yourself from everybody else, by simply saying, I'm going to be great at whatever it is I'm passionate about. Maybe your passion is speaking. Maybe your passion is writing. Maybe your passion is some form of athletics. Maybe your passion is helping other people start businesses. Maybe your passion is helping people heal from trauma. Maybe your passion is helping young girls who have gone through difficult times. Maybe your passion is teaching young boys how to be men. Maybe your passion is sitting up going out and starting an organization that creates jobs for underemployed people. Whatever your passion is, become great at it. Go after it, dig into it, get to it, and understand that a part of the process of greatness is the pain of development. You've got to go through something to get there. Look, if God can't trust you with trouble, you're pretty much worthless. If he can't trust you with trouble, if he can't trust you with difficulty, if he can't trust you with delay, if he can't trust you with disappointment, if God can't trust you, however you view God from your faith, I'm not trying to tell you what to believe. This isn't what this is about. What this is about is you better believe. And see, to me, belief starts within. Because see, if I believe in something outside of myself, it doesn't speak to what I'm capable of. So if I'm going to relate to God, the ultimate consciousness of the universe itself, whatever, if I'm going to relate to it, I better have some connectivity to it of how it impacts me, because that's what's going to determine what I do in life. God bad. I mean, the universe do whatever. I mean, it's look at the universe. Look what's happening in the universe every second. For all of that to be happening, and while it seems chaotic, remain in order, because there are at least 100 things that have to remain exactly the way they are for life to continue as we know it. And it does it year in and year out for billions of years. So there's some order, no matter how chaotic it seems. There's an order, and it's held together. So you got to know something's holding it together. For something to be this in order, when you really look at it and study it, something's behind it. So I'm not going to tell you what that something is. You figure it out. But what I better tell you is you better find a connectivity to that something. If it's God for you, you better make a connectivity, because it's not how bad God is. It's how bad God is through you that's going to matter and determine what you're able to do. That is that simple. What are you doing with what God gave you? Is the question. And if you are Christian, therefore God is literally inside of you. And if you really study your Bible, God is you. I need to know what's the problem. I'm not telling you that it's easy. I've gotten my butt kicked more than once, but I've won more than once. It's so many things in my life, and this isn't me bragging. This is me trying to get a point across. There's so many things in my life that I've experienced that 98 to 99% of the people in this world have not, simply because I refuse to just hang back in this place of comfort. Does it cost me sometimes I get knocked? Yeah, because I'm not going to stay on the safety board. I'm going to get out there. Sometimes the water is rough. Sometimes the rocks are rugged. Sometimes the slope is slippery. That's life. Get over. And what kills me is the people who stay on the safety board still end up getting upturned because life will find you. I don't care how well you think you hide from trouble, it will find you. The vicissitudes of life are going to roll into your paradise no matter how well you hide and how safe you think you are. And if I'm going to go through some difficult times in my life, get boxed around, I might as well get everything out of life I can while I'm going through it. So that being said, I'm done with the day. I went, as usual, went well. I don't even know why I call this 5 minutes of fire, but I can't think of anything else until I do. It's gonna stay 5 minutes of fire and be until I think of something else. It was, but I had to share this with you because so many people are trapped in this cocoon that gives them a false sense of safety. And the truth of the matter is, safety comes from confidence in your ability to take on anything that you encounter because you can't avoid everything. You're going to run into some things in life. And if you don't have a confidence, a sense of awareness, of self-awareness that says, I'm built for this, you're going to be beat down and broken no matter where you hide. But if you've got a self-confidence that looks yourself in the mirror in the morning and says, I don't care what comes, you're built for it. And when times get rough, you sit up and you look at yourself and say, I'm built for this. You'll find that there's nothing that'll stop you. You're going to continue to go through. You're going to experience your ups and downs, but you're going to have these experiences that other people dream of. And you've got to want to live. There's a difference in existing and living. The vast majority of the people in this world are simply existing. And you've got to want to do, you got to want to live as bad as anything in life. You ought to want to live because that's why you're here, is to express divinity and a representation of divinity, of God in your actions, in your life, in your experiences. If people can't look at you and see the power of God, you're not evangelizing too well. I don't want to hear what you say. I want to see how you're dealing with it. I want to see what you're facing, what you're going through, and how you're handling it. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about let people see the power of God in the way you handle your business, in the way you handle disappointment, delay, frustration, and the way you handle victory. It needs to be seen in you. The confidence of simply knowing, like, man, nothing ever seems to shake you up, man. I know who I am. Why am I going to become frenetic and unglued when I'm just simply facing the things that are making me better, making me stronger, making me wiser? I don't become frenetic and unglued. I buckle down and say, let's go. Because one or two things are going to happen. I'm going to come out stronger or I'm going to die. But I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to lay down. I'm not going to wallow in it. With that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Like I said, if you haven't copped the book, the link is there. Order you a copy. And the one thing is that I'm actually happy about, we decided not to go with the original retail price. So we never changed the promotion pre-release price. So the book is just going to stay at that price for at least the time being. And I'm happy with that. I think that it's a price point that everybody can get to if they're serious about doing something in their life or with their life. With that said, you guys go out and make something happen today. That's my challenge to you. Get up, go out and make something happen. Do not allow this day to go by and you haven't done at least one thing that is significant that will make a difference in your life. And you should start out every day with that one thing. Do something that's significant enough that you know it impacted your goal. It impacted your ultimate target and destiny. And with that being said, I'm gonna check out here. As I always say, I live my life on full, to the best of my capacity, so that when I leave this place, I die on E. I don't want to take one book, one speech, one word of encouragement, one idea, one business opportunity, one invention, anything to the grave with me. Like Dr. Miles Monroe said, may he rest in heaven, may he rest in peace, may he rest in love. The one thing he said, it's a lot of things he said that stuck with me. But one thing he said is that the graveyard is the most wealthiest place on the planet, because so many people die with things undone, and they take it to the grave with them to never be done, because certain things are meant for you to do. And when you don't do it, it doesn't get done. And the world is less for it. So whatever it is inside of you that's speaking to you, do it while you have breath in your life, because tomorrow's not promised. Live every day full. Love hard. Give hard. Work hard. And then know when you go to bed at night that you left it all on the field. And get rest and get up and do it again. Live. I'm out of here. You guys have a great day. Peace.